What's up, guys? Evan here with Adventure Rings. Today I'm going to talk to you guys a bit about what a Bentwood ring is, the methods I use, the tools that I use, and the materials that I use to create my Bentwood rings. All right, let's get into it. So all Bentwood rings start with a wood veneer. Either that or a very thinly sliced piece of wood. I've seen the stocks of rifles and shotguns used as rings, and they've turned out magnificent. I selected wood veneer at a packet of these I got on Amazon. It was a variety pack of exotic wood veneers. I'll leave a link to the product in the description so you guys can go check out what I'm talking about. But this is really where it starts. Thin slice of wood and about a 10mm selection cut off of that. I have this ruler here with a nice cork backing so it doesn't slide when I make my cuts. I just do 10 mils, sharp crafting knife, cut those into 10 mil strips just like this one here that I cut off earlier. And that is basically the basis. That's basically all it takes to start a Bentwood ring. You'll obviously have to put this into some water to make it more malleable. I usually put mine in hot water, let it sit for about 30 minutes or so, and then I'll pull it out, and then I'll form it. But that is really where it all starts. Some of the tools that you'll need to create your Bentwood rings are crafting knives. Sharp ones are preferable. A ruler, like I showed you earlier. This one has a cork backing that makes it not slide around on the wood as you're trying to cut it, which is helpful. It is helpful to use calipers. They don't have to be digital, but it definitely helps out when you're trying to measure your diameters for your wood veneer, your rings, all that stuff. So I also use CA glue. CA glue is what I use to glue the wood veneer to itself when I'm making a ring, and it is also what I use to shine up the ring for the finishing process to make it shiny. I have medium, thick, and thin. I have found that medium works best for this project, so I stick with medium. I also use an accelerator, because when you're doing the finishing process, you put in between every layer that you put onto your Bentwood ring, you spray a little bit of the accelerator on it. It helps from bubbling or blooming, and it helps the glue set faster. That finishing process is a little bit more time consuming as you use 8 layers of this on each portion of the ring. So the outer side, the middle, and then the inside. And you do that 8 times on all those. And that helps so that when you go to sand it, you don't get down back to the wood veneer. Other things you've seen me use are sockets. Sockets are helpful when it comes to sizing your rings. The one that you see me use most is the red one because that happens to be my size and I don't really have anyone else to make rings for yet. So I make myself a lot of rings. My size actually is a 13. If I were to try to put my ring on this here, it wouldn't really fit. And that's because you want to use a size larger than you're actually trying to make so that it makes room for the finish. So once you put your finish on there, it actually drops it down a size. So this one actually is a size 9, if that makes any sense. Anyway, all right. Also, to make the ring really shiny after the sanding process, I use a burnishing gum. This is one that I use on my leather projects also. It actually works really well at shining up the Bentwood ring after the sanding process. So I'll continue to use it unless I find something better. But sandpaper is also a must. I use anything from a range of 120 grit all the way up to 3000 grit. And the sanding part, I don't have a lathe yet, so I do it all by hand. 120s to kind of get the shape, and then once I put my finish on there, it's 240 all the way up through the numbers up to 3000, and then I use a micro mesh. I use an 8000 micro mesh and a 12,000 micro mesh, and it really helps. At first, when you're sanding it, it seems like you're doing nothing, but as you get through to the finer grits, you start to notice it shine. So it's kind of a fun progression to witness. I also use this socket. Is a nice shaper. It forms the veneer. Once it comes out of the water, it's more malleable. So you just take that once it comes out of the water and you wrap it around here, like so, and then you take masking tape and you just tape it around it. So it'll look like that. And you let that sit for about 24 hours so it dries. If you're in a hurry and you have no patience, you can use a blow dryer, but I'm usually not in a hurry to make these, so I just let them dry for 24 hours. But while you're using the accelerator, the glue, and you're sanding, it's important to use a mask. I use an N95. I have an abundance of these since I was a nurse in the ICU during the pandemic. I've collected quite a few. This one I've reused quite a few times. The most important tool that I use is this bad boy right here. Some people call it a toothpick. Others call it a cocktail stick. I call it a glue applicator. I use this. I found it's the best thing to apply the CA glue because it gives me a nice even layer. And it also helps me kind of fill in spots I miss, and it's tiny. It's very helpful. That, in a nutshell, is a Bentwood ring. I hope this was helpful. I hope this answered a few of your questions. If you have any other questions, go ahead and just leave them in the comments. I'll get to them, and hopefully I can help you guys understand this journey I'm on a little bit better. But I appreciate you guys being here. Hit that thumbs up button for me, and definitely subscribe to the channel so that you can see my next creations. And I'll see you in the next one.